Welcome, Guardians. You're listening to the Multiplayer Gaming Podcast, a video game podcast that talks about the high, lows, and funny stories of new video games each week. I'm your host, Todd, and this week we are talking about Destiny 2, an open-world first-person shooter created by Bungie. But before we get into Destiny 2, let me introduce the Titan, Paul.
Hey, what's the rumpus, Todd?
I don't even know what that means.
You don't know what that means?
I don't know what that means either.
It's like old school Irish slang for what's going on.
I just heard you say rump and I started laughing. So.
Oh, yeah. What's the rumpus?
All right, so Titan Paul and Titan 2 Josh.
The new and improved version.
I mean, no, both of you guys
Mach
chose
2.
Titans in Destiny 2. We'll get to that later, but, you know, diversity, guys. Come on. Can't all be Titans.
I've realized that Paul and I both enjoy, like, tanking in games.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tend to gravitate toward that type
like
of
the
role.
tank, right? Yeah.
All right, guys. Before we get to Destiny, I just want to check in with you guys. With COVID-19 is still going on. Everyone's pretty much still quarantined. How are you guys doing this week? What games have you guys been playing?
Ooh, I picked up a new game, man. This was when you're surfing Steam and then all of a sudden you find a game that you're like, whoa, this game was made for me. And I had no idea it existed. Like, I get excited. And that happened this week.
What game?
It is called Monster Train. Terrible sounding name, I know. But it is very similar to the card game Slay the Spire. Now, neither one of you have ever played Slay the Spire, have you?
Nope.
Yeah.
It sounds just as crazy as Monster Train.
Obviously the most wise when it comes to video games amongst this crew. But Monster Train is a roguelike card game. They basically ripped off Slay the Spire. So the listeners out there that know Slay the Spire will know exactly what I'm talking about. But picked it up. I love it. It is very exactly what I wanted it to be, which is a game that I can just hop into for 5 minutes or just play for 30 minutes straight. It's got cool cards, cool mechanics. You're the evil side of things, which I enjoy. You're like fighting like the angels and stuff, and they're trying to take over hell, and that like lore is cool. Yeah.
Explain the monsters on a train.
Yeah. Haven't you heard of Snakes on a Plane, Todd?
Yes.
Well, this is monsters on a train.
These monkey fighting snakes on a Monday to Friday train plane. Jeez.
Not to get too far off topic, but did you know that my wife and I went to a midnight showing of Snakes on a Plane? And my wife might have worn a custom-made Cafe Press Snakes on a Train shirt. Snakes plus plane equals Snakes on a Train.
Snakes on a train. Wow.
Love it.
Before her time, huh? You know.
What? All right, Josh.
What?
I don't understand.
You're good, Paul.
We've gone off the rails. I'm sorry. I took the show off the rails there. What have I been playing lately?
Did you derail my train?
I did. I did derail. Going off the rails on a crazy monster train. All right. So what have I been playing lately? I have been playing a lot of Game Dev Tycoon. Thanks to
nice.
Todd talking about it lately. I fired that back up and playing that. I've been playing a lot of mobile games. I haven't had a whole lot of time to actually sit down and play games for long stretches outside of our time playing Rust. So I've been playing that, and I've also gotten into some of these escape room type games that are online. There's like a ton of those that are available. So I downloaded a random one called Samsara Room, and it's made by Rusty Lake, and I ended up downloading like 3 of their games, and I'm just going through playing all of them. I think they're super fun.
I hate those games.
What? I love those games.
It's like you have to find the right pixel to click on. And it's like behind a bed frame underneath, and you have to the like, tiny scratch in the baseboard. You have to click on that, and then all of a sudden like it pops to life.
See, I always thought I hated games like that too, like point and click adventure stuff. But Samsara Room, you should probably give a try. It's more of figuring out puzzles. So you'll like look in the mirror and your mirror image will tell you something. And so you have to go find that item and then you add it to your character in the mirror and then it gives you something else. It's not so much trying to click on the right pixel as much as combining items and trying to logically work your way through the puzzles. I think you might like it.
Is this mobile?
Yeah, on mobile.
So I want to know, I play a lot of Escape the Room in person. Do they have a teenager in the video game that tells you to put down the couch because you shouldn't be picking up the couch?
Are we going to tell that story? Was Josh there for that too? Were all three of us there?
Was, yeah.
Oh,
we were.
I didn't realize all three of us.
Yeah, we were all there.
That was pretty funny.
So
it was so goofy.
So me and Todd have a sister-in-law in common. It was her birthday. And her husband wanted to schedule a time for a bunch of our friends to go to an escape room out in Scottsdale, Arizona. And so we all went for one afternoon, and it was the first time that a lot of us had done an escape room in person. And so as we're like searching for hidden keys and all these things, for some reason we kept thinking there had to be something hidden in the couch or under the couch. And so at one point we lifted up the couch in the air, and then all of a sudden a voice on the intercom was like, "Please do not pick up the couch." So,
while we're holding it over our heads.
While it's over our head, yeah. So we got reprimanded in the escape room.
I just love that, like, that's someone's job. Like they see countless people be like, the files are inside the computer, and
right?
They just smash the computer.
Yeah, that was literally us. It was fun though.
That's like the epitome of people watching. That's got to be a fun job, right?
Yeah, I bet it gets boring. I bet there's only so many things people do inside that room. It's got to be like a dozen things, and it just repeats those dozen things.
I would just be commentary. You know, like, oh, look,
right.
This idiot's going to search the fridge for the 5th time. There's nothing in the fridge. You know?
Just narrate what they do.
Right.
That would be an amazing Twitch or YouTube channel, just doing commentary over people doing escape the rooms.
I'd accidentally leave the mic on, though, and then the room would, like, hear me, like, making fun of all of them.
Right. Love it. And then Paul alluded to it. We've been playing a lot of Rust still.
Oh. I'm in love again, guys.
We were rusty, but now we're just Rust.
I'm in love again. It's a great relationship.
I know. I wish we would have revisited the leaderboard, like right after, like right at this moment. Like we've done a couple successful raids. Like it's the great point of Rust.
We are in like,
and then give it a
height.
couple weeks, and who knows? Yeah.
We're gearing up. We've raided stuff. We're looking strong. We've got backup
a couple bases up.
Yeah.
We're at that stage where it's, why did we break up? It was all so good, right?
Yeah, until we log in the morning and
they were always nice to me. Yeah. And then in the news, guys, Halo 3 for Master Chief Collection's coming out.
I heard they are going to release it sooner than they had initially thought.
Yeah.
That's just them telling me, like, we really don't think we can make this thing any better. Let's just throw it out to people and see what happens.
It is what it is. Just get it out.
Let's just get it out. They're just going to keep buying them anyway.
So it's either one of two things. It's either the situation where you're working on something and literally every time you touch it, it starts breaking. And then you're like, okay, I can't do anything with it. We just need to get it out. Or the opposite, where it's like, it's so gorgeous. we could do nothing better than this. Let's release it. I'm going with the latter.
I have a feeling it's more, we need to make some money. Let's release this and get it out there. Because we got suckers like Todd who are going to keep picking up more and more of the Master Chief Collection.
Joke's on them. I already pre-bought for $60 all of the games.
Do you remember when I bought Halo 2? And I was like, hey, I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm going to play.
Yeah.
I am willing to completely forego buying any more Halo games. Sorry, Todd.
Infinity is coming out soon. You take that back.
When is Infinite coming out? There's not even been gameplay videos on that, have there?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I've been looking. I haven't seen any.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I've one more bit of positive news that I saw. This is I don't even know what this means, but they've extended the trademark for Fable under intent to use.
Okay.
Ooh, I could get behind a new Fable game.
So it could be a new Fable game. It could be a remaster, which honestly, I'd be okay with a remaster.
I think they've already done that for the first two, haven't they?
But like a remaster of the remaster.
Oh, okay. A remaster.
It's a
The most remastered.
Remaster.
Yeah, I don't know. I just that's in the news about they extended the trademark for intent to use, and it's I hope it's a new game.
I do too. I have always loved the Fable series. I would love to see a new one come out. I would definitely pick that up.
Yeah, I would too. Those were good games.
All right, guys. So I was looking at the reviews on our site, and we're at 86. We're getting close to 100. I would love if our fans, jumped on Apple Podcasts on your, iPhone or Mac, and threw us a review. All right. So, Josh, do you want to read the latest review, or one of our latest reviews, and the winner of a brand new shiny Steam key?
Ooh, I do. All right. This one is from Adam Tejibas, which I'm pretty sure is a typo.
His name.
I think it's Adam the Boss, but of course we're going to pick on you for the J instead of the H there. But Adam Tejibas writes, love this podcast. Usually the best gaming podcast out there. Funny and interesting. Would highly recommend. 9 out of 10? Only reason it's not a 10 out of 10 is because you lowered Valorant. Why did you do that? Guys, why did we do that?
Adam Jabos, we did it because it's not a fun game.
Yeah,
it's not fun. Have fun.
I
playing
protest.
It.
Adam, for what it's worth, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. I was overruled. But that is a great review. Adam, email us, hit us up on Twitter, and we'll give you a brand new shiny Steam key. It's glorious.
We'll give you a riot key to Valorant too.
It's true.
On the house.
We're giving away free Valorant keys. We will send you a link directly to the free download.
Oh, man. No, seriously, thank you for the reviews. Let's get to 100. Honestly, we're close. 100 reviews is huge. That really helps us out. It's a big deal for Apple Podcasts to break that barrier, and we're close. So if you are listening, please go and leave us a review.
It'll give you bragging rights that one day down the road you can say, you know what? I left them one of their first 100 reviews, and you'll have bragging rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we might read it on the show and then throw you a Steam key.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not above bribery. Not at all.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I thought we've been very clear about that.
Yeah.
The keys only go out to 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
Or 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 and up.
It would be very awkward if we randomly selected like a really bad negative review to read on the show.
Except that we don't have any, boys.
All right, guys. Are you ready to jump into Destiny?
Oh, am I ever.
All right, guys. So every week we review a new game, and this week we're reviewing Destiny 2. I'm going to read a quick blurb from the publisher, and then we'll jump into it. Dive into the free-to-play world of Destiny 2 to experience responsive first-person shooter combat, explore the mysteries of our solar system, and unleash elemental abilities against powerful enemies. Download today to create your Guardian and collect unique weapons, armor, and gear to customize your look and playstyle. Experience Destiny 2's cinematic story alone or with friends. Join other Guardians for challenging co-op missions or compete against them in a variety of PvP modes. You decide your legend. Man, that was epic. That's an epic... That person deserves a promotion for that blurb.
Sounded like they tried really hard to make this game sound great.
There was a lot of epic and just grandeur in the language used.
Yes.
Which you're a Guardian, so I get it.
Yeah. What are we guarding exactly?
You're a Guardian.
We're guarding it in Destiny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just all of it. The light.
The light?
Against the darkness. I mean, it's pretty simple, Josh.
But what about the Traveler?
Oh,
I thought he guarded the light.
We're not getting into the lore. This isn't the Destiny 2 lore podcast.
Oh.
So we all played this at launch.
Sure did.
I mean, how did you guys feel about it when we very first played Destiny 2 the many years ago?
I came into Destiny 2 without ever playing Destiny, because Destiny was only on PlayStation, right? I just remember I never played Destiny because I didn't ever play it for whatever reason. I think maybe I didn't own the console that it was on, or I just went like, I never picked it up.
Destiny 1 was released for the Xbox One, 360, PS4, and PS3.
Okay, maybe that was my non-console time. I went through a phase, guys, where I didn't console game. All right, and
no,
so
you're
I never
good.
played Destiny.
Yeah.
But I remember Destiny 2 coming out for PC, and I remember thinking, like, dude, this game looks amazing. Like, the graphics are legit. It looks like, super good gunplay. So I was very excited to get it. I remember, like, we were all in. A bunch of our friends were like, yeah, let's play Destiny 2. And we all downloaded it, and we were hopping in. And I remember, I think it was like me, Andy, and maybe you, Todd, or somebody. And then I remember Paul logging in. And Paul was like, all right, guys, let's play. And then we were like, oh, wait a minute. You can't play with us, Paul, because the game only has 3-man teams. So sorry that you get left out.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true.
And then so I was instantly bummed right there. But the game was super fun, man, for me in the beginning. I remember thinking, like, this is a game I could easily play for, like, years.
Yeah, my earliest memory was either playing a free beta version, or maybe we got early access with pre-ordering, and it let you just play the first mission or two. And I remember running through it with every class because it was just so much fun. It was really cool to learn the different abilities that every class had. And ultimately I decided on Titan, but I thought they were all very fun. I remember being very excited to just keep playing the intro mission over and over. And then once the game released, just really diving into it as quick as possible to see the rest of the content.
Yeah. And since then, the base game has gone free to play, which we all paid for it years ago at this point. And now there's like a lot more to do. So how was it jumping back into this game after not playing it essentially for a year at least?
Well, that brings up a good point, because the reason we stopped playing is that we went through all of the original vanilla release content, and there was really nothing left to keep us playing.
Right.
And so we dropped it for years. I know you would touch base with it every once in a while, Todd, but for me and Josh, we hadn't played since maybe 2 months after release. And when I hopped back in, I had no idea what was going on or what to do in this game. They dropped me straight into a tutorial mission where someone had a seed and I'm shooting these floaty black shadowy eyeballs, and I had no idea what was going on. And I just kept shooting stuff as it came running by, and then all of a sudden it teleported me back to, I think it's called like the Nexus or whatever. And I had no clue what was going on. All of a sudden, there were hundreds of missions, hundreds of people. It felt very overwhelming to jump back into this game.
So that's funny because that was like the intro into this season, that mission you played. So it just dropped you right into it. And like it was just because you started this season that you're playing that, which is interesting. And I could see how it could be very jarring.
Yeah, I literally loaded the game and just entered, and they threw me right in the middle of a mission, and it was very confusing.
But and this is funny kind of coming from you, just because I feel like Josh and I had like this reaction to GTA 5.
Yeah.
Where it's just like if you haven't been playing, there's just so much content and you don't know where to go, what to do, like the organization or like structuring it in a way that is easy to follow storylines through all of this is convoluted. Josh, what about you?
I am with Paul 100%. I was completely lost. I had no idea what was going on. There were these story like campaign missions that we were running. It seemed like it should have been epic because of the music and the whole guy talking to me beforehand. And I just had no reason why I was shooting what I was shooting.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, that brings up a point. Do you need to know the lore and the storyline and all that to play this game? Because this is Destiny 2 and it's been out for 2 years and some change. And I don't think they're getting rid of Destiny 2 for a while.
So here's the thing. Generally speaking, I enjoy games the most if they have a very complex storyline, or if it's just strictly team-based PvP, where you don't even try to tell a story like Valorant or even Overwatch. Like, yes, you can consume some of the lore on the outside, but it's not central to the experience. Destiny tried to give you a lot of lore, but none of it made any sense to me. And I almost just kind of felt like, why did they even really bother? Because the joy of this game, I don't think, is trying to follow a very convoluted sci-fi storyline. The fun of this game is having smooth, dynamic action where you pull out your gun and you're just blasting enemies left and right. So I don't know that it's necessarily a deterrent to playing the game, but it is incredibly confusing to have a storyline when none of it made any sense to me. So really, that's my only complaint. The fun can still be had in just pointing your gun, clicking, and killing stuff. But man, does the lore really whiff big time, at least for me.
Well, and that's interesting because if you didn't play the main storyline mission, Destiny created like a abridged storyline mission for newcomers to play the free-to-play version on Steam when they switched from Battle.net to Steam. And that explained a lot of it. And that got you through all the major groups. So I think that was like a very unique case when someone played Destiny 2 years ago, a year and some change ago, and then hasn't played up until recently.
Yeah, see, I would have really loved if the main menu had a button like, hey, you haven't played in 2 years, come click this and watch a video or something. I would have loved that.
Right.
I did not anticipate needing to watch like a video online, how to get caught up on Destiny's story in 2020. You know, I didn't think to look that up. And then I just got thrust right in the middle. And then really, I just solely relied on our friend Brandon, who I assume we're going to be talking about a lot in this podcast because it's his favorite game of all time. I just relied on him to tell me where to go. He would just say, quick travel here, follow me, talk to this guy, do this, do that. I just needed like a one-on-one tutor in Destiny just to tell me how to get started to unlock all the new content.
Even Brandon can't explain the storyline.
No, he can't. No one knows the storyline in this game.
It's hilarious that you mentioned because I legitimately did look up the Destiny 2 storyline explained when there was the expansion coming out. What was the expansion that I bought, Todd?
Shadowkeep or something?
No, that's the new one. Forsaken. That was it. So Todd was like, we're diving back in and we're picking up Forsaken. And I remember spending $40 on this or whatever it was, even though the game was free to play. And so I was like, I'm gung ho, man. I'm okay. What's the, Googling Destiny 2 storyline explained up to Forsaken, and I'm reading all of this stuff, and it still made zero sense to me whatsoever. I don't know who is responsible for the story in this game, and it's a shooter game. It doesn't have to have a great story.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So going back a little bit, we talked about how Destiny is mainly a 3-person co-op game, but there are different game modes. I mean, for you guys, what game modes did you enjoy? And then how many people could play those game modes? Because there's a lot of different ones that can have 3, 4, 6 people in them.
My problem is I don't know what mode is what, because there are so many modes and they all have crazy names like Gambit, Menagerie, Firestrike, Raid. And I remember that you guys would be like, all right, let's go run Gambit. And I'd be like, wait, is that the one where it has like the 3 random things one after another? Or was that the one where we had to find the keys to the doors? Or was that the one where we held the points? Because this game has a lot of game modes, and I definitely had trouble jumping right back in and trying to remember which mode was which.
Right. Yeah, I think that's fair. Because we definitely, like, we got you into Menagerie, we played a dungeon with you, we played Gambit, we played...
Paul had done the strikes before, too. Those are your mission, your dungeons, so to speak.
All right, moving on. So, for a first-person shooter, gunplay and movement are super important. How would you describe Destiny's gunplay and movement abilities?
Floaty.
Floaty?
No, I've always joked around that I feel like the jumping in this game is super floaty.
Oh, yeah.
The gunplay is great. Like, if I'm going to say something great about Destiny, the gunplay is phenomenal. I mean, the guns all look different. They shoot different. There's a gajillion different variations on these guns, between the mods and the way they look. And then you've got energy weapons and swords and bows and all this. I mean, the gunplay is second to none. Like, honestly, it really is. The movement is pretty good to me. I don't enjoy the weird floaty jumping.
I think it's because they incorporate a lot of jump puzzles where you either have to jump from really high or really far. So they have to give you the ability to do that in game.
Yeah, either you levitate and float or you get double or triple jumps. Yeah.
And like Paul saw a little bit playing in the dungeon. We saw it a little bit in playing not Menagerie, whatever the one we all played where it was like kind of like a light raid.
Yeah, now you sound like me describing these modes.
Jeez, right?
The part where we shot the monsters?
No, right? No, the part where we ran in the ring on the outside and all the platforms kind of disappeared after we killed the monster. Neither of you?
I'm drawing a blank.
All right. Well, there's a lot of jump puzzle mechanics where you have to like land on a certain ledge or you have to jump across something. And I don't know, chicken and egg situation. I don't know what came first, the floaty character who can jump really far or the jump puzzles that require a character to jump far. But like for me, those fit really well together where I'll take a character who's a little bit floaty in combat to have a game that has puzzles in it.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of disagree with Josh on this one. I love the ability to kind of float around and fight stuff and not consistently be stuck around corners. I think that the gunplay and the action is spectacular in this game. There are so few games where the movement and the shooting are this smooth and solid. I think for Destiny 2, you really have to give it a 10 out of 10 in regards to the action and the gunplay. I think it's fantastic. What beats pulling out your sword along with your buddy and running up and smashing the heck out of a giant, huge boss? And you already mentioned the different weapons. I think it's super fun to go back and forth from hand cannons to your pulse rifle to your auto rifle. I think it's a blast.
And Destiny is one of the few games I know where, like, I can choose, I want to run a hand cannon, and then I can change my armor, I can change my abilities, I can change everything about my character to be hand cannon centric. And, like, including from my alts and everything, to just have, like, a character that revolves around this pistol, and then switch it up a day later and have all my abilities and everything be about swords and just, like, smacking someone with a sword, and it, like, all of your abilities just revolve around that. And I think, like, that just adds to the depth that that game has. But then on the other hand of it, it's really hard to know what to equip and all that because everything is so customizable.
You have abilities in this game?
No, get out of here. I mean, that kind of leads to my next question. What does character customization look like? Of course, there's like a little bit of a Sims builder at the beginning where you can be like a robot or a person or whatever. Like there's a couple different races you can be, and then, you know, give them mohawks and whatnot. But then once you're in the game, like, what would you guys say it offers?
I think it's terrible. Honestly.
Really?
Like, yes, I really do. The armor in this game is butt ugly to me. Like, you
haven't unlocked the pretty armor, Josh.
If I mean, I don't have any desire to unlock the pretty armor at that point. Like, honestly, I think the armor is really ugly. As far as like character customization goes, like I know that there is a very in-depth customization part. I know that from talking with Brandon and having Brandon try to explain to me how you work to get these different mods on your guns, and that you hope to get gun drops that have certain mods so that you can then upgrade them and then add light to them or whatever, you know. But for me, the only abilities that I actually have in this game as a Titan are a shield that I can put up that I can't shoot through, so it's basically just a temporary wall, and then a grenade that I can throw. But that the grenade is on like a super long cooldown. Like the grenade cooldown's like 30 freaking seconds, man. So that's it. Other than an ultimate ability, which is pretty cool. Like honestly, the ultimate in this game is neat, but I don't know, man. I find the customization to be lacking, and finding a certain mod on a gun where I can't really tell that big of a difference. It's not like the gun all of a sudden starts shooting like missiles instead. It's just like, oh, well, when you pull the trigger, you get like 2 seconds worth of increased stability.
Right. Yeah. Like it's very subtle.
And I'm like, I didn't even notice that. Like I wouldn't have known that if you hadn't told me that that's what that did. What about you, Paul?
I've never changed a mod or anything in this game. I just click I just click on the highest rated piece of gear or the highest rated gun, unless it's a pulse rifle, because I hated those, and then I would just roll with it. I legitimately did not really know that you could even change mods on the guns.
Yeah, and that, to me, that kind of proves my point on the customization part.
Yeah.
Is it's really, like, I feel like it's there, but it's really not, like, game-changing. It's not interesting. It's not...
It is. It really is. I think it's a mile deep. And is a mile deep far? Yeah. It's hard to wrap your head around it, because when Brandon and I play together, we play two different classes, and we can both equip armor and alts that pair together so we can kill the boss quicker. And I'm telling you, we've played it where we disagreed on tactics and we didn't do something that like worked well off each other, and it's harder to play the game that way. But then we did something where like he generated orbs, and then I could use those orbs and throw a Nova Bomb, and then it would just cycle back and forth. And the game was so much more fun to play just because it was like there was some sort of synergy and cycle with that gameplay. All right. And then last question for everyone, I want to hear pros and cons. So like one positive, one negative.
pros, gunplay, graphics. I mean, this game is stunning, man. I'm lucky I play on an ultra-wide monitor. I mean, this game is beautiful. And I mean, I love that part of it. The landscapes, the way the planets look. I mean, the particle effects and that stuff is just amazing. The Vex milk. I've been wanting to talk about the Vex milk for a while.
What are you talking about? What's Vex milk?
Yeah, well, you look it up, Paul, because I asked that same question. So
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Apparently, these robot Vex make milk that you're not allowed to touch because it shocks you. Apparently, but you travel across the giant lake of Vex milk.
Yeah.
That's like the one part of the lore I remember because I was like, oh, look, it's like robot milk. Isn't that funny? And there's a big lake of it. So to me, yeah, the gunplay is phenomenal. The graphics are phenomenal. That's the best part of the game. The worst part of this game is how convoluted everything is. And I get that it's a big game, but that doesn't excuse why it's so like unuser friendly. The best example I can give is Brandon was helping me run through some bounties so that we could play the Menagerie. And I had to go to the vendor and purchase these bounty quests, which then went into another menu. And then I had to go into that menu to see what the quests were. And then we had to go do the quests. And I remember spending like a couple of hours doing these quests. And then Brandon was like, okay, well, you should have 8 of them now. And I went, yeah, I've done 8 of them. And then we had to go back and talk to a character, but then it didn't show that I had any bounties done. So then Brandon was like, well, what the heck? We just did 8 of them. And I'm like, yeah, but it's showing 0 of 8. And then I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. And then he was like, well, pull up your quest menu again. So I pull up my quest menu. And then I'm like, yeah, I still have all the bounties. And he's like, well, did you click them? And I was like, I'm supposed to click them? Like, why would I do that? Like, why would I have to click a quest when I'm done with the quest to say that I'm done with the quest? Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And that epitomizes everything that is wrong with this game.
Because it's not even under your quests. You would have to go to a separate tab. Yes. And then it'd be on the far right side. You'd see your bounties.
Like, why? Yeah. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in a video game. Like, why would that
I've seen stupider than that. I've played Halo Reach.
I mean, all right, sure. There's pretty dumb stuff. But
okay. You can only insult Bungie so much in a podcast.
Oh, man. But it's just, nothing makes sense in this game. Like, the lore doesn't make sense. The menus don't make sense. The Ingrams, like, way back in the day, you'd have to, you wouldn't find gear. You'd find a shiny little sphere on the ground, and then you'd take that and hand it in to get your gear. Like, why?
You still do that sometimes.
I know, but why? Like, it's a shooter. Just drop a gun on the ground. Let me pick the gun up and shoot the gun, man. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yes, but that rant over, that's a dumb design, man. You have such a great, beautiful, good shooter game. Why do you ruin it with all these stupid things that make absolutely 0 sense to anybody that's playing the game that doesn't have 1,000 hours in it?
Tell us what you really think, Josh.
Yeah, sorry. All right. I feel better now, guys. Whew. I've been wanting to get that out.
All right, Paul.
All right, a pro and a con. My pro would be, I think this game is super fun once you're in it. So as long as you have the right party size and you're in a mode, I think it is super fun. What was the mode with the PvE and the PvP content where you have the invaders who go to the other side and attack them?
That's
Gambit. I thought that was super fun. Once we were in it and playing, it took me 1 round to kind of understand picking up the shiny motes and then turning them in. Once I understood it, I thought it was incredibly fun. My con to this game is that it seems to me, based in my experience, that once you have played every mode a few times, there's not a whole lot driving you to keep doing it other than unlocking new gear. And it kind of suffers in that sense that you end up grinding the same stuff over and over in hopes that the game will randomly give you the right gear that you're looking for. And that's a mechanic that just personally I get bored of relatively quickly. I I don't mind that at first, but I feel like it puts a little bit of a countdown to the end of the fun.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
What about you, Todd?
All right, pro and con. Pro, like this game is so polished. This game always works well. Like, it's always fun. There's always a game mode you can find. There's so much content. And like every season they're releasing like a new like type of gameplay.
That's a really good point, because for me to jump in now, I'm handed 12 modes and I'm just going to cherry pick the one or two that I like. If I played the one brand new mode at a time, it probably would have kept me interested, as opposed to just jumping in and having so many things to play. So I think that's a really good point that you made. If you play this game and this game only, they are always dropping in that new content that probably keeps it quite fresh.
Right. And then my con is it probably took me 30 to 50 hours for Destiny to click in my brain on what I needed to do, like what were my goals, what I had fun doing, and like how to get better at the game. It took me a while to figure out how the whole game worked, and once I did, like it just like a huge burden of, you know, what does all this mean, was lifted off, and I could just have fun and focus only on like one or a couple of quests. All right, well, that's all I have for the game. So, Paul.
Yeah, you ready for some reviews?
Yeah, what did the community think about the game?
Yeah, so I pulled a couple of reviews here from Steam, and I pulled 3 positive and 1 negative, and I think you guys are really going to like these. First of all, a positive review. Best reskinned weapon farming simulator I've ever played.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yes, now it should be noted that is funny, but it's still a positive review, and I think that's fair. It is a weapon farming simulator, but it is still a lot of fun. So I enjoyed that. Number 2, Brandon, since I know you're listening, you're going to love this review. Positive review. Somebody please play with me. All my friends hate this game.
Love it.
I liked that. Josh, this review's for you, buddy. This is a negative review. As a new player, I don't know what the heck is going on. The game could really do with some linearity to get you started instead of having loads of stuff I don't understand unlocked at once. At the moment, I just go to a planet, click a mission on the map, rinse and repeat. Robots will talk to me throughout missions, even talking about past events I have no knowledge or recollection of. It's like playing a game with amnesia, and the only thing that keeps you playing is new equipment, which gets old fast.
Bingo.
Yeah.
I feel like that did come from Josh.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly how Josh would describe it.
Was that positive or negative?
That was a negative review.
Okay.
And then finally, this one's a little lengthy, but it's a positive review, and I felt like this was a very fair review. 2017. Bought Destiny 2 and Season Pass for $100. Did pretty much everything there was to do in the base game. I was sorely disappointed about the lack of content and amount of things to do. I had a good time with it, but I ultimately wrote the game off as a loss, and I walked away. I laughed at the thought of a Year 2 Season Pass after getting burned so hard the first time. 2018. Pretty much forgot Destiny 2 existed. 2019. Continued forgetting Destiny 2 existed until October 1st. Decided to give New Light a try because, screw it, why not? I'm completely overwhelmed with how much the game has grown and the sheer amount of things to do. The game did a full 180 from what it was the last time I played it. Within a few days of New Light, I went ahead and bought Forsaken and Shadowkeep because I felt like Bungie finally earned my money. Looking forward to reaching the light cap again, min-maxing stats, and going for perfect weapon rolls. I'm so glad Bungie chose Steam over Epic. If Destiny 2 had gone to Epic instead, this review wouldn't exist and Bungie wouldn't have my money. So, well done, guys.
Yeah.
That's the Todd experience right there, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I came back a little bit earlier than that. But there's a reason this is like top 5 most played games on Steam right now. Like, it just has so much content.
It does. And I think this game shines most if you're the kind of person who doesn't get gaming ADD and you just want one game to plop yourself down and you're going to play nothing else. You know, you can do that with World of Warcraft, you can do it with Destiny 2, you can do it with GTA Online, and this game suits itself very, very well to that. There is so much to do that if you really dig in and you understand how the game works and where to find everything, then it's fantastic. If you're just going to pick up a game and play it for 8 or 9 hours and then you're going to move on to something else, then this game is probably not your cup of tea.
That's fair.
That's a good way of describing it, for sure.
Yeah. All right, and then each week we always take a guess at how many reviews on Steam we think are positive. So what percentage of user ratings are positive for Destiny 2? What's your guess, Josh?
I got to set my feelings aside here. I'm going to say, I mean, a lot of people got to like this game, man. I'm going to say 92%.
All right. Todd?
Lower, 85.
Todd, you have done this to me so many times. I guessed 84.
Uh-oh.
And the answer is 86.
Oh my goodness.
I
If
thought I had
only-
that one in the bag.
Oh,
when I
my
wrote down
goodness.
84 and checked it and it was 86, I said, oh yeah, in your face, guys. Eat dirt. This one's mine.
It's...
And Todd stole it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, you get to introduce.
Yeah, I'll
You
got
got
to
to sing it,
introduce
though.
the next
You got to
segment.
sing it.
Ooh, baby. Does that help?
You got to keep going.
This next segment is called Make Love, Marry, or Murder. We play a childhood game where we decide if we want to make love, marry, or murder this game we reviewed. I'll go first just to get it out of the way, guys. I'm going to marry this game. This game's been around for a while. Like, it's a great game. It's going to be there for a while. Destiny has said that they're not actively working on Destiny 3 yet. They're still on Destiny 2. Josh?
All right. I have vocally been critical of this game to you guys. I have had a ton of fun trolling Todd and Brandon on why I don't like this game. And then I play the game and I have a good time with it. And then I go, yeah, it's actually like a good video game. You know, like it's like I said, there's a lot to like about this game. I'm still going to murder it. Honestly,
Really?
I'm going to murder this game, and Paul hit the nail on the head for me. This is not a bad video game at all. It's quite a good video game. But for me, I am the person that likes to play the 8, 9, 10-hour games with the occasional 100-hour role-playing game thrown in. I just cannot get into Destiny 2, man. I have tried.
Wow.
I really have tried. You guys have seen me play it. I enjoyed it in the very beginning, and I cannot enjoy it like anymore. Like, for me, it's so convoluted. It's so confusing. The gunplay is great, but there's a ton of other gunplay games out there that I'd rather just jump into and play and feel like I understand what I'm doing and why, versus Destiny, where every time I jump in, I just feel completely lost, and there's nothing that gives me the desire to continue to play this game.
Would you not want to just jump in and play a couple strikes?
No. I guarantee you I will never play Destiny again after this podcast.
Well,
You know, so I'm murdering it, man. I know that disappoints you, and Brandon's probably going to text me and freak out when he hears this, but it's a murder for
Murdering the game and murdering Brandon's hopes
Yeah,
and dreams.
sorry, guys. I love you, Brandon.
all
I
right,
just hate
Paul,
your game.
what about you?
All right, so I made fun of you, Todd, when we did the GTA Online episode, and you said this one really kind of rides the line between marry and murder. And I did not understand that at all until I was playing a little bit more of Destiny. And I was like, you know what? If I would have talked about this game before getting back in, it would have been a murder, no doubt. And then I hopped in. I was like, maybe it actually is a marry. It's definitely not a make love. And I'm actually going to say marry.
Oh my goodness.
2.
You are not going to marry Destiny, Paul.
I feel like this is really going to surprise
you guys. I better
you guys,
see you playing some Destiny 2 in the future. That's all I got to say.
Look, especially coming off the heels of having to play Human Fall Flat again. And then you hop into a game like Destiny. Destiny looks really good by comparison. I can't, looking at like our leaderboard, there's a lot of games at the bottom half that Destiny is just so much more fun than. And I know we're going to get to leaderboard in a minute here, but especially compared to games like GTFO and Escape from Tarkov, those games are joyless. Those games to me feel like trying to slog your way through a swamp. Destiny is actually fun. I don't often want to load it up. You're not going to see me calling out to you guys, hey, let's all jump in Destiny. But if everyone was playing Destiny, I'd be more than happy to jump in and play it here or there. Now, I'd rather play a game like The Cycle, but if I had no other games and all I had was Destiny 2, I would be more than happy just sitting in that game playing it long term.
All right, guys, let's go to the leaderboard and see where this game stacks up. All right, with 2 marries and a murder, I don't know where I should start. I'm just going to, it's Grand Theft Auto is 5, The Cycle 6, Rainbow Six Siege is 7. I'm going to start there.
It's in the top 10. Like I said, as critical as I am, this game is probably in the top 10.
Top 10? Wow, I did not expect that from Josh.
I mean, I can...
For me... Go.
I can tell what is a good video game. You know what I mean? Like, I've got enough, experience to say, hey, this is a very well done game. I'm not trying to take away from the actual caliber of the game itself. It's just a personal preference for me. You know what I mean? As far as that goes.
Right.
But this game is a phenomenal video game. It definitely deserves to be in the top 10.
Yeah, so we have a total of 23 games. I think for me, I would put it right at number 10. So I would put it above Raft, but I would personally put it below Far Cry 5 and everything above it. And I would pop Destiny in at 10.
You would rather play Rainbow Six
than Destiny? Probably. Yeah.
I think you're spot on, Paul, to be honest with you.
I can't let it be number 10.
You can't put it above Warzone.
Nope.
And I can't put it above Far Cry 5. If you could talk me into moving Rainbow Six down and bumping all those up, I'd be cool with it. Rainbow Six, I was on record not wanting it quite that high, but I can't put it above Warzone or Far Cry 5 for me personally. So where were you thinking, Todd? You have it way higher?
5.
5,
I have it.
Oof.
Well, it's tied for 4 at Rust with me.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah, let's
Mr.
kibosh
Rust.
this real quick, Paul.
And I know it's not going to be 4 and 5, but I can't put it at 10. I'm fine putting it right underneath The Cycle at 7.
No way. I would so much rather
it definitely
play...
has to be below Cycle.
Yeah, I would much rather play Rainbow Six or Warzone. I could...
The problem I have with this is it feels a lot like The Cycle. It just has a million more hours and more things to do than The Cycle. The only reason The Cycle wins in this battle is because it's simpler.
Well, it's also more fun with friends. And you can play with a group of 4.
Because it's simpler. You can play with 4 or 6 in Destiny.
Not so easily.
You know what? I'm going to agree with Todd at 7. I'm fine with that. If Todd technically would put it at 4, and I'm thinking 10, I can meet that in the middle.
10, though.
That's true.
I mean, I don't know.
All right, man. I put it at 1.
Yeah. I would see putting it above one spot above Far Cry. So between, but I don't think it's better than Siege or Warzone.
Let's do 8. I'm fine with 8. We'll get a raid in there and we'll redo the leaderboard sometime down the line, and we'll get it up there.
All right.
I don't think any of us are super happy about that, which means it's probably in the right spot.
That's fair. The leaderboard where no one's happy.
Yes. Come commiserate with us at the leaderboard.
That's pretty funny. All right, well, that wraps up the leaderboard segment for our show today. If you want to view all of our rankings, you can find them on our site at multiplayerpodcast.com. Also, if you want to get in touch with us, we're active on Twitter at multiplayerpod. We're trying to hit that 100 review mark on Apple Podcasts, so if you're listening from an iPhone or a Mac, it would be helpful for you to just go on Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. It was fun hanging out this week, and if you're interested in more multiplayer podcast content, don't forget to subscribe to the Multiplayer Podcast on your podcasting app. All right, guys. Next week, Josh, what are we playing next week?
A real shooter game with good guns, with fun guns,
perfectly buttery smooth motion.
Yeah, with vehicles and open world. And
less hackers.
Less hackers. Sure. Oh wait, I thought we were playing Borderlands.
No.
I thought we were being ironic.
No, we're playing PUBG.
We're playing PUBG. Why don't we start over? I want to reintroduce that. A real shooter, Todd. A real shooter with easy to pick up loot. Less hackers.
No rubber banding.
No smooth animations. Great graphics. Accurate shooting mechanics. Invisible
what
rocks.
Game is that? What game is that, Josh?
We're playing PUBG, baby.
Oh
PUBG.
My goodness.
PUBG.
We've talked a lot about it on this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a game we all used to hold dear to our hearts. We'll see if it holds up.
My highest number of hours played in Steam, PUBG.
Oh my goodness.
About to revisit it.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys. See you next week. If we play with Andy, I'm panning him.
Oh, Andy will never play with
100%.
you again.
We'll all pan him. We'll all pan him at once in unison.
Let's just talk him into playing, and then we'll just surround him with pans. And then just see if he has flashbacks.